Disclaimer, I may change body positions and or clothes throughout this video. Like mustard gas is only a gas. It may kill a few animals and or plants, but it will not turn the whole entire ecosystem into like a barren wasteland. Now, another thing about mustard gas is that it doesn't necessarily kill everyone that it's exposed to. As for example, a bomb explosion or a grenade explosion. Ultimately causing death. Now, mustard gas has actually seen a fairly recent rise in activity lately because it was used reportedly in Egypt. Mustard gas has commonly seen a reoccurrence in many places like the Middle Eastern area, commonly used in terrorist attacks and in Iraqi government assaults. Sure, you might be able to say that, oh, soldiers had gas masks on them. They could easily just put them on just in time. Just in time doesn't always work. You see, at least half of a squad maybe already be exposed or have inhaled the gas before they got their mask on. Also, the exposure is enough to take you out of the war in general, so yeah, sorry. Also, even if you were able to get your gas mask on in time, the exposure of the gas with contact with your skin can create all kinds of nasty blisters and other issues, enough so that you would have to be hospitalized and you would not be able to re-enter the fight. Now, a common form of treatment that not many people really realize to treat mustard gas symptoms is simply by applying this beautiful substance called H2O to the affected area, like so. Oh, let's go! So, mustard gas, the way it's stored and used during warfare is it's in grenades. So, as an example, I have an axe bomb, as we like to call it. And basically, the way mustard gas is released is it releases through aerosol. So, that smells. Now, mustard gas, being the way it's stored in munitions like grenades or bomb shells or artillery shells, it takes a long time to destroy them. And on average, the means of destroying them is through using other munitions to blow them up. Once the gas is released, it has to filter out through the air. And destroying these munitions, you can average about 6 munition destruction per day, which is really slow. Now, since mustard gas is a really old weapon and not a lot of shells have been manufactured, the thing is that old shells will most likely leak some of the chemical components and be very harmful to people who end up finding them. But most old weaponry ends up staying perfectly intact and can be used again. Here's a short video to help you understand how mustard gas attacks used to work back in World War I. They're gonna call it chlorine gas, but pretty much it has the same effect.
First World War technology. Chlorine gas. In 1914, a chemist called Fritz Haber offered his knowledge to the German army. He soon began experimenting with chlorine gas to be used in trench warfare. In April of 1915, 150 tons of lethal chlorine gas was used by the German forces against the French army at Ypres. The French soldiers witnessed yellow lime clouds with a distinctive smell of pineapple and pepper slowly drifting toward their trenches. The French infantry assumed that the Germans were merely using a smokescreen at first, until they started to complain about pains in their chest and a burning sensation in their throats. As the realization of a gas attack became apparent, the French ran away from the area, putting a gap in the Allied line. The German army was hesitant to advance forward due to concerns with what the chlorine gas would do to them. This enabled Canadian and British troops to recapture the position before German forces could break through. Chlorine gas would destroy the respiratory organs of the unfortunate victim and lead to a slow death by asphyxiation. Weather was an important factor in gas attacks. When the British Army launched a gas attack on the 25th September 1915, the wind blew it back into the faces of British troops. This was solved in 1916 when gas shells were used with heavy artillery, increasing the range of attack. So, how would you counter a gas attack? At first, Allied troops used cotton pad masks or even handkerchiefs that had been soaked in urine. The ammonia in the pad, it was discovered, would neutralize the chlorine. As the war progressed, soldiers were equipped with gas masks and anti-asphyxiation respirators, which were more efficient means of protection from gas.
Another important thing to remember is that gas is affected a lot by the weather. So the wind's blowing right now, so when I spray the gas in this direction, if I rotate, the gas drifts off to the right, as you can see there.
Gas. The most feared, the most obscene weapon of all. We remember the awful sights in the hospital. The gas patients who, suffocating, cough up their burnt lungs in clots. Better to take your chances in the open rather than stay in the hollows and low places where the vapors settle. The new recruits give us more trouble than they are worth. Between 5 and 10 of them get killed to every old hand. And they get killed simply because they are so inexperienced. They know nothing, so they die like flies. No! No! Get Hand me a rifle. Dad, wait!